Welcome to Attack of the Show, TV's only source for all the stuff you care about. I'm Adam Sessler.
And I'm Morgan West. Our show on AE, so we are coming to you live from the Depot Studios in Los Angeles instead of them. Hope you like us. On today's show, we've got an extra special injection of Japanese culture in Around the Net, including healthy doses of tongue twisters and, of course, abusive panda.
Of course.
Plus, Zach Selwyn continues his reports from Hong Kong and tries to figure out how such a condensed city can make such big-ass action movies.
But then we'll discuss the Wii Fit, the new American Gladiators, and whether the writer's strike might kill Comic-Con in the loop. We can review.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we'll have our own first look review of Unreal Tournament 3. Find out if it's on the giving or receiving end of a headshot award.
But first, it is time to get into this race to encourage internet growth.
It's the top 5 web items of the day in Around the Net. Now, we do have some distinctly Japanese items in today's Around the Net, but before we get to those, we'd like to offer up a little appetizer, some good old American child screaming fun.
This comes to us from an indoor amusement park where a child thrill seeker finds exactly what he was looking for.
Derek should have had when he was 8.
Wow. No. What is it when, like, they just put him on the knee and play horsey? That must be, like, really exciting.
I think that kid's a little bit over his head.
I would say so. I mean, he's dropping, like, 2 feet at a time, screaming like a maniac.
His friends could take it, though. His friend was stone cold. It's hardcore.
Yeah, he's the terror. He's the terror.
In at number 4 today is our first video from Japan where a 14-year-old girl is about to completely school you in the fine art of jump roping.
On what appears to be one of Japan's ancient traditional insane game show sets, this young athlete enters a deeply religious trance for our amusement.
It's 188 jumps, so basically she sucked.
Yeah, that's nothing. I can do that easy.
Yeah?
All right, here we go. No, not really.
Are you going to wear that for the rest of the show?
Maybe someone can get me some clothes.
Okay.
Today's number 3 video is one of the main reasons we love Japan.
Here in America, we're not even allowed to show you a lady's ankle on television on account of our nation being founded by Puritan whack jobs and all.
But in Japan, they can televise actual honest-to-goodness fetishes on television, like this next clip. All you have to do is make sure a costume character is involved, which technically qualifies it as 3 additional kinds of fetishes.
茶色の元気で花粉なんて吹っ飛ばしてやる。シーシーシーパラパッパーシーパラパラパラシーシーシーパララウフ一緒にお昼寝したいね。やる気のロッキー活気づいてベッキーとブッキーがガッキーとジャッキーとポッキーを。
they're just so compliant. Like, oh, this is the part where I stick my tongue out and do that. I mean, where's your dignity? All right. You should be thankful we don't live in Japan. We'd eventually end up on that show.
Probably right.
Yeah.
Now, I need a break from Far Eastern fetishes. Do you have anything on the show that will make me fear Americans instead of the Japanese?
Of course. Today's number 2 is a commercial from the best little furniture shop in New Orleans, Frankie and Johnny's. If you buy from them, they'll even throw in a free gift.
Wow.
I say, this must be Frankie and Johnny at St. Claude and Franklin.
Let them have it with no problem.
I need some credit now.
You come to the right store, baby. See the special man. Let them have it.
Yeah, you're right.
I say. Who say I say? Frankie say I say. So when all the other stores says no, Frankie says yes. See the special man. Let them have it with no problem.
I got the credit.
I say. When you buy from me, you get chicken nuts free. Tastes like mama.
Well, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't refuse it.
I learn something new and horrible about you every time we do a show.
Well, you know, it's the learning thing. And finally, today's number 1 item on Around the Net takes us back to the land of the rising sun.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Japan, like all modern Western nations, has an insatiable bloodlust.
But luckily, they found a way to indulge that bloodlust without actually harming anyone or unleashing genetically modified superwomen like the new American gladiators. Witness JapaneseBugfights.com, the only place you get to see all the wild insect mashups you have been fantasizing about.
Ladies, fight!
I
think one thing you should appreciate, kids are really into this. Pretty much Pokemon has come full circle. It's real life, you know, monsters catch them all.
Pokemon.
So we need to also address the fact that you then have been fantasizing about a life and death matchup between a scorpion and a Goliath beetle.
Kind of all my life. Or at least since I heard about this website. So that's what Japan's good for. Now, to get your daily viral fix, make sure to head on over to g4tv.com/aroundthenet. There you can also sign up for the Around the Net podcast. It knows your secret, so you really should just sign up for it now before it tells everyone.
You're kind of weird. Right now, for the only news you need to know, here's Layla Kaylee and the Feed headlines.
Thanks, guys. Here's what's coming up in the feed. First, Radiohead's In Rainbows has hit the US charts this week. We'll tell you if offering the album online hurt them or helped them. Plus, Red Sox pitcher Kurt Schilling is trading in his balls next year to develop MMOs. And 10 years after its release, Fight Club, the film that was begging to be made into a musical, is finally going to hit Broadway theaters. It's all coming your way in just a few minutes, but first, back to you guys.
All right, Kevin and Olivia are back on Monday, so Morgan and I are going to squeeze every last bit of quality out of the show. You don't want to miss it. Here's what's coming up on today's Attack of the Show. Zach Selwyn's talking to local Hong Kong experts about the martial arts action movies that put this city on the cinematic map. And the writer's strike could crush Comic-Con. And American Gladiators is a smash with audiences in the loop. We can review. Push through the pain. It'll be worth it when the attack comes back.
This is your G4 captain speaking. We'll be landing in about 20 minutes. Whoa, wow, whoa. Well, it looks like we're here now. I didn't see that. Nice going, Larry. Thanks, Phil. Anywho, if you enjoy weird foreign TV as much as I do up here in the cockpit. You said cock. Shut up, Phil. Cock. Shut up, Phil. Excuse me. Anyway, book a flight on G4's new nightly block called Duty Free TV. Duty. It's a bunch of foreign TV shows every weeknight, and it kicks off this February 4th only on G4. I have a huge cock, kid. Just shut up and look out the window.
Well, we are live and leaving threatening notes for Kevin and Olivia to find when they get back.
Nope. I just planted a bunch of proximity mines in the dressing room.
Yes, I know. That's what my note said.
Well, that's fair. Ill-advised or not, it's time to hand over the reins of the show to you for User Created.
For this current user-created challenge, we want your TV show pitches.
If you've ever watched the major networks' primetime offerings and shuddered, now is your chance to come up with a real show. You can shoot a sitcom, a documentary series, a cop drama with a cool acronym in its title. Just make sure to only use the provided music at Zydio.com when adding tunes to your masterpiece. Or, if you create your own music, if you're a maestro, make sure to let us know in the credits so we don't exact our band hammer in haste.
We've been getting your submissions for over a week now, and we've gotten some good ones. But this competition is still very much up for grabs, which means that several amazing prizes could still be yours.
Yes, prizes like the big reveal, The Simpsons movie, now available on DVD.
And this 8-megapixel Canon PowerShot digital camera.
Wait, yours is better than mine.
I'm going to take a picture of the DVD.
You will become eligible for User Created's amazing grand prize, which is a 58-inch Samsung Plasma. This mammoth 1080 feet has a contrast ratio of 15,000 to 1, and in case you don't know what that means, it's like gazing into the very face of God. Seriously.
Way to take the fun out of the TV. So, get going. This weekend is your last chance to submit your TV pilots. Go to Zydio.com/usercreated for the full rules and details.
In the meantime, let's check in with Layla, who's got all the news you need to know.
Thanks, guys. It's time to start the feed.
Intended here in Hollywood, Apple.
The Feed with Layla Kaylee.
This physical version of Radiohead's new album, In Rainbows, is the #1 album in the United States, Britain, Canada, France, Japan, and Ireland, with over 130,000 copies sold in the States. Late last year, Radiohead let users download this album from their website for any amount of money they wish to pay. While In Rainbows debuted at #1, it still sold almost 170,000 fewer units than their last album, Hail to the Thief, which debuted at #3 on the charts. Star pitcher Curt Schilling has said he's only going to play one more year of baseball and then fully dedicate his time to his own gaming company and the development of a still unnamed mystery, massively multiplayer role-playing game that goes by the working title Copernicus. Schilling's gaming company is called 38 Studios and was founded in late 2006. 38 Studios is aiming to reach into all forms of entertainment, including film, TV, books, comics, and action figures. The company's first game, Copernicus, is scheduled for release in 2010. Good news about the upcoming video game Smash Bros. Brawl for the Nintendo Wii. You'll now be able to play as Pikmin or Captain Olimar, and the fighting game will feature the single-player multi-man mode popularized by Smash Bros. Melee back in 2001. The new multi-man mode allows players to engage in a long single-player battle against a new fighting alloy team. But most importantly, this new mode will have two-player online co-op, allowing lowly Smash Bros. Fans to fight robots with an online companion. It puts the lotion on the polymer, or it gets the hose again. Pentagon-backed researchers are close to creating a type of skin for use on artificial limbs. This is very creepy. The skin will provide direct feedback to the brain, is made of a rubbery polymer called polyamide, and is infused with carbon nanotubes. The skin could be ready for inclusion in artificial limbs as early as 2010. And finally, director David Fincher says he wants to do a truly theatrical interpretation of his classic 1999 film, Fight Club. That's right, Fight Club could be the next big hit musical on Broadway. Author Chuck Palahniuk has agreed to the project, and Nine Inch Nails frontman Trent Reznor has expressed interest in developing the music. Fight Club the musical will be on the Great White Way in 2009, but marketing might be a problem since we're assuming the first rule of Fight Club the musical is you don't talk about Fight Club the musical. Well, that's it for today, but don't worry, the feed doesn't stop here. Get all the news you need to know anytime at G4TV.com. I'm Layla Kaylee, and you've just been fed.
So it's Friday, and you know what that means.
What's that mean?
It's time to get drunk on cheap wine and sit around playing flash games in your underwear with strangers from all over the world.
I'm going to have to tell you to speak for yourself, but then I do need something to keep me busy next week in the office. I mean, what, do they want me to work or something? Why don't we share some of our favorites with the viewers who might not have as much free time to look for all these gems?
Okay, now one of the most popular flash games around the G4 headquarters is Desktop Tower Defense, which launched last year. It was played over, get this, 15 million times in its first 5 months online. In this game, which will soon be coming to the PS3, really the PlayStation Network, your mission is to stop your enemies, or creeps as they are known, from reaching a set point in the playing field. You build and upgrade towers to try to take down these creeps before they reach their objective.
It's actually really, really, really fun. Okay, sorry, I'm paying attention. Who, what? Who are you?
All right, okay. What's this next one we have?
Next up, we have Dice Wars. It's an addicting flash game any fan of Risk will enjoy and be able to pick up immediately. Now, it's simply a matter of moving your armies into opposing regions on the map and then rolling the dice to obliterate your opponents. It's kind of like Solitaire on Minesweeper on Windows. The addictive factor of this game comes from how easy it is to jump into a new game. Because, you know, you can be this player and then you sort of just attack the guys next to you. Did I play this one?
It can be very dangerous, though, if you try to actually correspond these shapes with actual countries. I mean, that's kind of like Florida right there. That's the panhandle. But that's about it. Well, that's one of those Midwest states, like Nebraska, probably. It's just a
You
shape.
must not have done very well in geography, did you?
I didn't do very well, period.
Okay.
All right. And finally, for those of you who want a little more blood and gore than you'll get from your average six-sided die, yes. Go violence. I love you. The Last Stand, where your goal is to prevent a nearly unstoppable horde of zombies from breaking down your barricade. This promising first flash game from con artists is set across 20 days and nights. And when you're not blasting zombie brains, you have to venture out of your shelter to search for weapons, make repairs, and locate other survivors to help you. So
basically, I'm behind this little barricade right there, and I'm just going to take my knife, and I'm just going to try and shoot him in the head. I mean, is that so wrong of me? And then
well, no, that's what you do.
They're going to actually break down the barricade as time goes on. Oh, reload. That lost me some time. And then there's strategy, a little bit of strategy involved, because at the end of it...
The strategy is kind of shoot the zombie.
No. Like during the daytime, you have some respite, so you can choose to either like look for survivors to help you, upgrade your weapons, repair your barricade. It's a very strategic game. That is it for our roundup.
It's like Space Invaders with scavenging.
You need to make sure you take your jinx on because this one's going to really challenge you. Make sure when you're playing these flash games at work, you always keep an Excel spreadsheet minimized so you can pull it up if your boss walks by. But you know that. It's made me the hard worker I am today.
Yes, I'm so impressive. And now it's time for a different type of flashing. Oh, I'm rich. Coming this Sunday, G4's got the adult world unzipped as we take you deep inside the 2008 Adult Entertainment Expo in Las Vegas. AEE is the largest convention of its kind, fulfilling all your adult fantasies.
Catch the highlights of this year's show in this 2-hour exclusive TV event. We interview adult filmmakers, industry executives, and of course, the stars. We would not want them to feel left out. That would be wrong. This is your chance to be there without the risk of actually having to admit it. Catch all the action this Sunday night at 10 only on G4, and check out g4tv.com/AEE for info and updates.
All right, now don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And if we're not, probably get something to say. Hong Kong is home to the best action movies in the world, and Zach's chatting with some local experts about their absolute favorites. Plus, the Blackjack 2 has some super...
Video games are evolving, and now, so are we. Introducing the all-new X-Play, Monday night at 8 only on G4.
Take a peek inside the real adult world. The Adult Entertainment Expo from Las Vegas. 2 hours of the industry's hottest girls and latest gadgets. And only one network has the cojones to cover it.
I'm from Utah and I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Keep in mind, little dabble do ya.
The Adult Entertainment Expo 08, Sunday night at 10, only on G4.
What is it, Bob?
Welcome back. Let's go over Adam, who could debate himself if he needed to.
Yeah, and I can win both sides. Now, the Wii Fit, it isn't just for fatties. American Gladiators lives to fight another day. And game companies are getting pouty with EGM, and the WGA, it might kill Comic-Con. It's like the New Republic, except you'll actually pay attention. It's The Loop. We can review. All right, my guest tonight, in New York, staff writer for CNET.com, Carolyn McCarthy. In Los Angeles, editor for Chud.com, Devin Faraci. And also in Los Angeles, senior video games editor for Penthouse Magazine, Rebecca Swanner.
Hey.
Thanks to all of you for showing up to discuss many things that have been happening this week. But let's start with the Wii Fit. We haven't heard that much from Nintendo, but you know they have the Wii Fit out in Japan, and it's already sold 1 million units. Now, Rebecca, did we expect this much success this quickly?
sure, why not? I mean, if, fake puppies and brain-boosting games are all the rage, why not a game that helps keep you in shape? Plus, it sure beats going, and upsetting your neighbors with a loud DDR, bouncing on their ceiling, or going to one of those super loud arcades where you can't even think.
Now, Carolyn, obviously it does very well in Japan, but it's easy in some ways to do very, very well in Japan. Do you think this is going to work as well here in the States?
Well, what you've got to keep in mind is that the original Wii Sports, which is really what took off the Wii workout craze, or what made the Wii workout craze take off, that was not marketed as a weight loss solution or a fitness solution. People just kind of realized that you can get a workout that way. I don't really know if they're going to accept something that is intended as a workout quite as willingly. I think that there may be a little bit of an embarrassment factor, may bring back a little, some bad memories of the 80s step aerobics craze, that kind of thing. But I mean, if American Gladiators is any indication, people are willing to embrace that 80s embarrassment.
Or suffer from nostalgia. Also, I think the question is it Wii or Fit that's really going to get people to go out there and buy it?
Well, I think that if people are willing to go out there and spend a lot of money on Taibo, they're probably going to be willing to spend some money on the Wii, so why not?
I always forget people actually spend money on Taibo,
Yes.
and part of me just kind of quietly dies inside. All right,
so does Billy Blanks.
All right, we're going to move on to the fact that NBC returned to some of its 90s roots this week with their remaking of the popular sports franchise American Gladiators. Now, Devin, is this just here only because we have the writer's strike and they need to get something new and fresh out there to combat all these reruns they're having to put on the air?
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of garbage like this in the coming year. I mean, it's going to be just like trash on your television. And the really sad thing is that people are going to watch it. And so I think the networks are kind of psyched because they don't have to pay big money anymore to have actors and writers and stuff. They can just put anybody who wants to be on television on TV getting embarrassed, and there you have it.
Well, what you've got to keep in mind is the fact that I like to think that American Gladiators is the televised equivalent of a Chuck Norris joke. It's got this nostalgia factor. It's kind of cool. It's kind of insidery at first. But then, like, by the 40th time you hear Chuck Norris does not sleep, he waits, you are really freaking sick of it. And I think people are going to get tired of American Gladiators Redux pretty soon.
I don't know. I nearly fell off the couch Sunday night watching it. I mean, it's better than Super Nanny.
Yeah, it is better than Super Nanny, I'll give you that.
People like to see people getting hurt, so I think American Gladiators offers us that kind of ouch, you kick me in my balls aspect.
I think they've got to bring in some live alligators. I want to see live alligators, and then I'll watch it.
I would tune in for that. I think we're very close to seeing Running Man actually becoming reality thanks to the strike. We're going to have Arnold Schwarzenegger being chased down by Sub-Zero on our televisions on a weekly basis, and I would also tune into that, and I could probably win it as well.
I think you're right. I think it's also worth noting that NBC is also bringing back Knight Rider. Are we seeing them relying a little bit too much on nostalgia, almost the same way that Hollywood has with bad television shows for the past 15 years? Devin, do you think this is like a new trend?
I think nostalgia is not a new trend. Nostalgia is we've been seeing things coming back for years, everything from music to movies. Remakes are the big thing in movies. I think it's just sort of, it makes sense that it would finally hit the TV world as well. And remember, the last time we had a writer's strike in Hollywood, they went back to old TV scripts and started just shooting old scripts. And, who knows, maybe we can have that kind of ultimate remake on television now.
I agree with Devin. I mean, we can't seem to get away from nostalgia. We have all these rock reunions that keep happening. I mean, who thought that the Sex Pistols would return?
Yeah, or Led Zeppelin for that matter. Now, moving on to something that has definitely been interesting to me this week is an article that was written in Electronic Gaming Monthly's magazine. It was a column by Dan Shu, the editor-in-chief, where he named 3 companies that no longer want to actually cooperate with the magazine because of reviews they've given their games in the past. Obviously, people knew this kind of happened out there, but he actually did name names. Rebecca, I mean, is this going to feed suspicion that's already been out there since kind of the Gertzman fiasco over at CNET?
I don't know. I mean, I think that companies probably shouldn't be doing this. I think that it's probably a bad move on the companies that did do this. But I don't know if they're going to really say, someone else gives them a bad review. I don't think they're just going to start pulling from them because that leaves them open. That leaves a space for other publishers to come in and other publishers to have their games reviewed and get more attention. And these companies, they don't make bad games overall. It's just a few mediocre, and terrible games that they put out that EGM blasted them for. And I think that, I think we need more honest reviews out there if these games are going to be $60 a piece.
I think absolutely that's true. I think that also there's the fact that the publishers absolutely don't care as much about print reviews as they did, 4 or 5 years ago. I think that they're okay with not being an EGM because they've got Joystick, they've got Kotaku, they've got OneUp, they've got GameSpot. There are so many people who are using exclusively online reviews that I don't think they are taking the print reviews quite as seriously as they were, and I think you do have to keep that in mind.
And I think they might be learning something from the movie industry, because we've seen over the last couple of years that studios have just stopped screening certain movies that they know are stinkers. And so, as a result, the critics don't get to see these stinkers in advance. They open without any reviews, and they end up opening big because they're relying on the advertising only. The problem is that, you know, instead of actually making good movies, the studios feel they can keep making crummy movies and still open them, and that could be the same thing that begins happening with the game world, because if you don't need the reviews, then who cares how good it is?
Right,
Unfortunately,
no one
yes.
word of mouth hits, and then they're done.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for this very engaging discussion. I would like to thank Caroline, Devin, and Rebecca for keeping us in the loop.
Thank you.
All right, now let's head this back over to Morgan.
We're embracing our love of Eastern culture today and squeezing it as tight as we can until it squeaks. Your love is hurting me. Here's another visual postcard from Zach in Hong Kong, who talked to two Asian cinema experts to find out what it's like in the Hong Kong film scene.
When it comes to Hong Kong, you can't help but think of their awesome action movies. From Bruce Lee to Jackie Chan, it all comes down to one thing: kicking ass. What is it about the culture here that inspires such interesting kind of filmmaking and experimental filmmaking as well?
I think a lot of it's just the culture, you know. It's really an international city. Things are very fast moving here. You know, films are made so quickly, stuff is done on the fly.
You almost feel like you want to have a kung fu fight break out with guys in tank tops and nunchucks. A throwdown might happen at any moment, at any time.
Bruce Lee made martial arts filmmaking popular all over the world. Hong Kong was always popular, but in the West, he was really a lot of people's first exposure. You know, really hit the mainstream.
Actually, a lot of people are under the mistaken idea that the first guy to break in America was Bruce Lee. In fact, it was not. It was a guy called Law Lee. Warner Brothers brought up an old movie from here called King Boxer, and they retitled it for America, Five Fingers of Death. And suddenly Kung Fu was in, and then Bruce Lee was right behind that, and really was the big phenomenon. So after Bruce Lee, it was like you could not have another Bruce Lee. He was unique. So you had to have like the anti-Bruce Lee. And where Bruce Lee was the invincible superhero, Jackie Chan, he was the underdog. He was the kung fu comedy thing.
What about wire fu?
Wire fu helps them do things they cannot normally do. You know, they can kick 5 guys in the air at once. They can stay up there. Jet Li uses wire fu. He doesn't need it so much to do action. You know, a lot of other people need it for action. Stuff that happens in the West. Charlie's Angels, Matrix, wire fu all over the place.
What's your favorite all-time Hong Kong film?
And I would argue probably the last great Hong Kong action movie was Jet Li's Fist of Legend, like, you know, mid-90s.
Actually, Peking Opera Blues, 1986, Choi Hark.
Now I think it's a move towards more realism in martial arts action, and I think that now the challenge has been to kind of like really bring East and West together, but with hopefully American discipline of the script and the wild and wacky Asian action brought together.
Who knows what's next for Hong Kong action cinema, but one thing's for certain, it ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
I would like to star in a Hong Kong kung fu action movie. I would even do my own stunts. Maybe. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for Hong Kong to give me a little ring, I'll continue getting my kicks here. It's time to attack this. First up, let's check out the wireless Wii Nunchuck from Nyko. Having recently debuted the kit at CES, the company hopes to start shipping these within the next few months. It employs 2.4 gigahertz spectrum to communicate with the receiver module, and power buttons on both the receiver and the Nunchuck turn the connection on and off. The Nunchuck is a bit heavier than the standard one, but it'll help you get a better workout. Next up is the Sansa Clip 4-gig MP3 player. Now, Apple will probably announce an updated version of the Shuffle at Macworld this year, but no matter what, the Sansa Clip is going to give it a run for its money. It has 4 times the capacity of the existing Shuffle, features a rechargeable battery that has 15 hours of playtime, and has an OLED display that allows you to select songs and not be at the mercy of the Shuffle. It also has a flashy mirrored finish. Don't worry, Apple, a little competition is good. Next up, we have the Nice Rack beer pong system. Beer pong has long been plagued by spillage and warm beer, but the Nice Rack hopes to eliminate these issues by not only giving you a stable platform to house your beers, but also a cold place to put them. Simply fill the holder up with water and toss it in the freezer to keep your cheap yellow beer frosty while you try to focus on the cup in the middle. And finally, we have the Iron Key USB drive. Security and privacy on your portable storage devices are becoming more of an issue. That is why the U.S. government has been using the 4GB Iron Key, which is now available to the masses. The device keeps your data scrambled, and if somebody attempts to physically or virtually break into it, the encryption chip inside of it will self-destruct. Awesome, making the contents unreadable. You'd better remember your password, though. 10 failed attempts, and the same thing happens. As we start carrying around more sensitive information and dirty photographs, protecting your data from slipping into the wrong hands has never been more paramount. Head on over to g4tv.com/AOTS for info on all of these new releases and more. Now, we're going to be back after this, so we can't promise you it'll be the same.
We're giving you an exclusive off saying it.
To watch this week's episode or any of our previous installments, go to g4tv.com/MMO. Adam, Morgan, you're both doing a great job hosting the show today. But, you know, it's funny. I kind of would have thought that maybe, you know, Kevin and Olivia would have asked me first. Whatever. Back to you guys.
Well, that depressed me in a different way. It scared me a bit.
See him here. The only other thing I got for you is our X-Play review of one of the most anticipated first-person shooters ever, Unreal Tournament 3. You want to try that?
All right. Let's try it. We're going to give that one a go. This is Unreal Tournament 3. Just what the futuristic field medic ordered for the ailing state of PS3 action title. If you're acquainted with this series, you'll find the gameplay here strikingly familiar. For those who aren't, think paintball on another planet, only the paintballs are actually projectiles, and instead of being filled with paint, they're filled with anger and explosives. Like past Unreal titles, Unreal Tournament 3 is, at its core, a multiplayer paradise with various modes tailored to this kind of gameplay, including, of course, Capture the Flag.
Flag returned.
That being said, Unreal also offers a single-player mode, which takes players through a loose storyline involving someone needing armor and weapons to invade someone else and yada yada yada. Damn, son, you ever shut up? Whether you're playing alone in the cold, lonely darkness of your room or playing online with friends in the cold, lonely darkness of your room, Unreal 3 has no shortage of ways for you to get around.
Blue core is secured.
Tanks, light armor vehicles, and airborne attack craft populate many of its levels, including a brutal vehicular-based version of Capture the Flag that's 1 part demolition derby combined with 2 parts standing in the middle of a demolition derby, holding a flag, with weapons for every pace, customizable characters, and old-school multiplayer cred to back it up, Unreal Tournament 3 is ready to set the sights of a tear-trigger flat cannon on anyone who wants a little multiplayer mayhem on their PS3. A 4 after 5.
Nice. Well, we've said it before, but it never hurts to say it again. Starting Monday, we are going to take X-Play and level up from our all-review format to one that is topical and comprehensive.
Our all-new daily X-Play will cover the entire gaming industry, featuring up-to-the-minute breaking news, game previews, first-ever hands-on demos, and behind-the-scenes developer exclusives.
Do not worry, X-Play will still be there to give you brutally honest game reviews along with so much more. It's better.
Yes, catch the all-new, improved daily X-Play every weeknight, starting Monday at 8, only on G4. And check out g4tv.com/xplay for info and updates.
So you at home, do not get off that couch life. I've been there. Totally overrated.
It's
Television
scary.
is where it's at.
And we've got a lot more coming up right after this. Coming up with the 2 major... All right, coming up on the next AOTS, Zach is staying in Hong Kong until the authorities find him. While he's there, he's going to try his hand at a kung fu class.
That
let's find
sounds
out
like a good idea.
Yeah, we're going to find out how many pieces he'll be at when he finally comes back to the States.
Then we'll tell you whether or not going wireless makes a difference when you're setting up surround sound when we unveil the new acoustic research wireless home theater in Tehran. And later on the week, we'll get gritty at Spacey and Dragony when we look at 310 to Yuma, Sunshine, and Dragon Wars on DV Tuesday. Yeah, people love them some DV Tuesday.
All right, we'll go to
G4TV.com. I'm going to do it. /ASTS for all the things you saw today and more.
All right, we had a very fun week doing this, and up next, more of us, because this can be X-Play. But that's not all. Make sure you watch X-Play Monday night, the brand new one, 8 p.m. Goodbye, Attack of the Show.